Honey's right. How are you? So this is going to be day 5. Like I said, I'm pre-recording these, so you're not gonna get a vlog a day. I'm not that girl who's gonna like a vlog a day. I'm editing and I'm spending days out of my life. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, these are pre-recorded and they're just gonna be scheduled out, and this is gonna be 15 days with you guys on this channel. I have 4 channels I'm trying to do, so you guys are getting the most videos. My regular like life channel is getting 10, and then my art and my tarot channels are getting 5 apiece. So that's still like a bunch of fucking, that's like 40 fucking videos. So you know what I'm saying? It's like almost 40 videos. So yeah. So this video is going to be about persona poems, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is I just explained on my thesis video. I've turned in my final portfolio for thesis 1, which is 1/3 of the thesis courses that I have to take to finish this program. So thesis 1 was more generative. We have to, over the break, kind of flesh out the full collection and then have it ready for 2 and 3, because 2 and 3 is where we're doing the editing and then the design. And they're like roughly 7-ish weeks each, because they roll right into one another. So you'll have 2 and then you'll roll right into 3, and then it's like, you know. So yeah, this is about persona poems, and somebody from my school, they graduated last year, their work was largely on persona poems, and I never asked them about it because I wasn't interested in it at the time. But a persona poem is something I'm starting to think about more, because I have come to the conclusion or understanding of myself that I write to concept, and I don't necessarily always write about things that are ultra personal to me. Sometimes they're my observances and stuff like that. Sometimes they're my experiences, but sometimes they're just things I imagine, and they're not necessarily like fully like me. Like, it's like saying beliefs that you don't really believe and being neutral enough to just be able to say it. And I think this is something that I may have struggled in thesis 1, because some of the stuff, they were like felt distant. Some of the people, like it felt distant, and it's just kind of like, because I'm writing to concept, I'm not necessarily writing about my personal thing, I'm writing about a concept, and it's a very neutral space to be. And when you're writing to concept, it's like you have to kind of let the concept like be fleshed out, and not really be like, well, I want it to go this way because this is my personal, like, it's not my personal beliefs, like 100%. And I'm an animist, so I kind of also am interested in playing with this, and I'm interested in playing with non-human perspectives in my nano and microfiction, and so I am okay with this idea of a persona poem, because also the theme, the overarching theme of this is different aspects of myself, and aspects of myself sometimes are beyond me. It's like kind of metacognitive in a way, very distant, very observant. Like, it's kind of that kind of vibe, and I'm exploring what that means. So the persona poem will probably help me out a little bit. And it's not even like, and I think some people would say that you're writing a persona poem to say what you're scared to say, and it's not even that. I just find it's like writing a different POV that you would be interested in exploring. And I think for me, because I also like to write prose, like fiction stuff, I like this idea for myself. I don't want to always talk about my life. Sometimes I want to talk about things that may be running parallel to my life, and it can feel a little distant because it's not fully me. But to be in this collection, it has to be something that I would consider that is considered running parallel to me, or something that you could by association put me next to. So that's when I'm thinking about persona poem. So yeah. So this is based on poetryfoundation.com. The article for teachers is learning the persona poem. Don't write what you know, write who you aren't. And so, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It goes into like a bunch of examples. Imagine you're doing this. It's like, girl, what? But it says, the desire we all have at some point in our lives to run away from ourselves isn't one we regularly indulge, at least not without serious repercussions. But through writing and reading persona poetry, we can put on masks, personae, and see with different eyes. I'm interested in seeing with different eyes. I'm not interested in hiding behind this, like, oh, you're really trying to say, slow it down. But I'm interested in that new perspective, right? So they're writing this essay. Rather than preaching, write what you know. Consider persona poetry. It seems paradoxical, but writing as someone else, exploring what you don't know, can prove an excellent method of coming to know yourself as a writer. And I think that's what I'm trying to do. Half of this is me, and half of this is like this persona me, but somehow they're running parallel, and each side reveals something, right? Ultimately about me. Because you can think about, if I'm choosing to write about a river from the perspective of a river, what does that say about me choosing to do that, right? And so one of the things I'm interested in, also when I did my project, and I did it a few videos back, I talked about this, was that I was very interested in a writer named Amy Bender. And the reason why I was very interested in Amy Bender's writing was because the character that she created and crafted was so well done to me. And I felt like characterization was on point. And characterization is more than just they have blonde hair and brown eyes and this. Like, the way you write about someone paints a picture of who they are, and you can start to figure out, and this is what we do in writing too, and movies especially do this, like the person who like is wearing all, like Snape. Take Snape. Some people ain't rock with Harry Potter, whatever, I don't care. Take Snape, dark hair, long robes, kind of pale, pasty, he acts a certain way, and he's written in a certain way and characterized a certain way, and we start to assume things about them. What I'm interested in as a writer is the assumptions of the reader as much as the assumptions of myself as the writer. And how do I react to those assumptions placed back on me? Because in reality, I do have expectations and perceptions and projections put on to me. And I can see them because I experience certain biases and things like that. And people do that. And I do that to other people as well. And so those are things that I'm interested in exploring. And so persona poetry for me would be a way to kind of work that out, psychoanalyze and work that out. So that's where I am. And so I think I will start to consider persona poetry, get my life together, and go from there. So, oh my God, let's read a little bit more from this article. Okay. Persona presents a puzzle. It is predicated on artifice, yet persona is also a very intimate form of poetry. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. In a persona poem, a writer often speaks directly to readers, and in doing so forges an almost interpersonal relationship with them. It whispers in their ears, it grabs them by the shoulders. And then they give an example of James Tate, the motorcyclist. Moments like these encourage us to rethink our initial assumptions, and upon rereading, we notice other instances in which the speaker points out the potential for first impressions to be false. So if I'm writing about me, of course, adopting a persona to talk about would be helpful for that. The new negligee she wears isn't unique, but a replica. Okay, they go into examples. Sorry, my bad. A persona poem can accommodate all sorts of speakers in dramatic situations. What matters is that we treat our subjects as worthy of our regard. And then she wrote, Tate, the person I mentioned, have written this poem with the sole purpose of mocking the speaker. We'd have less a thought of the poem and possibly less. We'd have thought a lot less of the poem and possibly less of Tate. A persona poem allows a great deal of control over the distance between a speaker and the audience. And so, yeah, kind of goes in there. So it's definitely really helpful. So, yeah, this is kind of what I'm considering and thinking through more deeply, because I have to really get good language. If I'm thinking of this concept, I have to get really good language about it. And that means I have to start seeking resources to kind of like mull over, possibly do imitation poems, do all these kind of things, blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of where I am. Persona poem is something that I am going to consider, because I have titles, I have working titles already, but it's about many different me's. And so that's probably going to be done on the cover a little bit too, and that's something I'm interested in exploring over the winter break, looking at more covers, because I have been already putting together designs in my mind, just like, you know, like not skill as in like going on Adobe and making stuff like I said I was supposed to do. But just Pinterest. I have my Pinterest, and I have hella boards, and one of the boards I'm just chucking in all of this stuff onto that board so I can like think about it, what I want, the colors, the moods, and stuff like that. And I think once I finish the initial kind of round, you know, the stuff that I'm supposed to send off, I'll think about more seriously where I want to go with like colors and stuff like that. Right now it's just, you know, picking up all of these things. So that is about it. Persona poems. I'm going to try and link this article that I have in the description, so you can read it about a persona poem and other resources that I find about it. Yeah, I'm going to look at persona poetry books and just see if there's any books that like heavily think about that, and put that down below as well, and just check it out. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.